Topping today's news, the Minister of Health announcing much-needed improvements to the healthcare system. Prime Minister Philip Davis continues his push for more favorable climate financing to recover from natural disasters. The F&M chairman slams the government on its performance, and a former Minister of State weighs in on the issues in the Department of Immigration. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jermaine. This is your Jcn Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you join us. The Public Hospitals Authority, PHA, launched its Trained Clinical Nurses program on Monday, with Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Michael Dowell telling the first graduating class that amid the ongoing nursing shortage, the Academy is now registered under the Accreditation Association of the Bahamas, which is very important.
I want my nurses to know that on graduation, there is no question about accreditation. And this accreditation means that on completion, you will be recognized not only in the country, but various jurisdictions across the world. It would allow you to be able to stand proud to know that the program that you are in is a fully accredited program, thanks to the hard work of our curriculum developers, Dr. Arbonette Roll and the entire team at the PHA.
Managing Director of the Public Hospitals Authority, Dr. Arbonette Roll, breaks down the course outline for the new trainees.
Through the course of the TCN program, student nurses will be exposed to an introductory course in fundamental nursing, which is specifically designed for trained clinical nursing students. Topics covered will include communication, patient safety, hygiene, body alignment, fluid balance, nutrition, oxygen administration, medical and surgical asepsis, elimination, and end-of-life care. Students will also be exposed to Principles of Medical Surgical Nursing 1, an introduction to community health nursing, an introduction to medical health nursing, introduction to pediatric nursing, and introduction to maternal child health nursing.
That was Managing Director of the Public Hospitals Authority, Dr. Arbonette Roll. Meanwhile, the Davis administration, through the Ministry of Health and Wellness, is getting ready to launch an emergency medical ground transportation system for the Family Islands. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Dowell says the move will soon end the days of using trucks and private vehicles to take loved ones to the airport on Family Islands during medical emergencies.
From the PHA Academy, graduated a class of emergency medical technicians. And I'm so pleased that today we will be commissioning 3 new ambulances and more to come. And I'm also pleased to say that our emergency medical program across the archipelago is going extremely well. I intend to launch it very soon, and this would transform ground transportation throughout the country. The days will soon be gone when our loved ones in the Family Islands throw their loved one on the back of a truck and take them to the airport where they can get air transport. We are going to implement an emergency medical transport system, ground transport system across the archipelago, and I am so pleased that finally the procurement process to purchase all these ambulances that will be deployed throughout the Family Islands is near completion after 22 months.
In addition to this, Dr. Dowell says the government is acquiring more medical practitioners to fill the medical gaps across the country.
In a few weeks, we have a wide cross-section of allied healthcare professionals coming from other parts of the country. I have biomedical engineers coming. I have physiotherapists coming. I have lab technicians coming. I have x-ray technicians coming to build our system into a system that we can provide better quality healthcare services throughout the country. As I speak, I'm renovating and near completion of the Anstown Clinic. I'm near completion of the Elizabeth Estate Clinic. We are finalizing our design plans for South Beach Clinic. I'm near completion of the Blue Hills Clinic, all in an attempt to improve the quality of healthcare services across the country.
He says this is just the beginning of the revolutionization of healthcare in the country. As hurricane and other natural disasters become more intense due to the adverse effects of climate change, it gets more and more difficult for vulnerable countries impacted by these storms to rebuild. In a move to find new and creative solutions to climate financing, Prime Minister Philip Davis, while speaking at the Clinton Global Initiative, CGI 2023 in New York on Monday, announced the Bahamas' Sustainable Investment Program to tackle climate crisis. He encourages attendees to take action with regards to climate, focusing on what can be done rather than what cannot be done.
We are going to survive an era of supercharged storms by creating supercharged win-win investment partnerships. With our strategic advisors, Resilience Capital Ventures, we will work with regional and global capital market leaders to underwrite and place an innovative financing facility with a target of initially $500 million US. Our priorities include climate resilient infrastructure, our clean energy transition, coastal zone conservation, reducing biodiversity loss, regenerative agriculture, carbon sequestration, and participation in the natural back carbon credit programs. Blended finance is a smart way to close the climate financing gap at a time when solutions cannot be postponed.
Prime Minister Davis explained the cycle small island developing states like the Bahamas undergo every summer during hurricane season, the Bahamas having already been hit by 4 major hurricanes in recent years.
A cruel irony is that for those 4 massive hurricanes, it cost us billions, leaving us with little fiscal space we need to get ready for the next storms. Topping the list of countries most vulnerable to climate change, it makes borrowing more expensive for me. Every single day, we are paying for the hurricanes we have already suffered and the ones still ahead of us. In addition, our nation's middle income designation leaves us unable to access fair and concessional financing for recovery and adaptation. This traps us in a cycle in which the servicing of our debt leaves very little to invest in building our resilience.
He goes on to explain the reason for his optimism towards this new Bahamas Sustainable Investment Program, which is a multi-year investment.
Instead of saying small island nation, say large ocean state. Our country's seagrass meadows, which cover an astonishing 92,000 square kilometers and maybe more, appear to be absorbing more carbon than the Amazon rainforest. I'll repeat that. Our country's seagrass meadows, which cover over 92,000 square kilometers, appear to be absorbing more carbon than the Amazon rainforest. We have been mapping our seagrasses with the help of not just scientists, but tiger sharks, who are a critical part of our underwater surveying team, wearing cameras and sending back data points. It's always good to have apex predators on your side. Those sharks are going to help us become the first country in the world to issue blue carbon credits.
The Prime Minister welcomed the partnership between the Bahamas and the Clinton Global Initiative. On the heels of the Progressive Liberal Party celebrating its 2-year anniversary as the New Day government, opposition chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands slammed Prime Minister Philip Davis and his administration. On Sunday, during the PLP's anniversary service at Mount Tabor Church, Prime Minister Philip Davis touted his administration's accomplishments since 2021 and contends that the way forward is promising. However, Free National Movement chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands begs to differ, suggesting that the PLP has made it more difficult for Bahamians to survive.
Prime Minister Davis said that by raising much needed revenue without adding any new taxes, things would get better in this country. But he's also had 2 budgets with the highest expenditure ever in the history of the Bahamas. And so 2 years into this horrible day administration, life for ordinary Bahamians just keeps getting more and more difficult. And they are tired of this miserable life. So, Mr. Davis, maybe there aren't any new taxes. I say maybe. But we got a dray load of levies, tariffs, duties, tolls, excises, contributions, assessments, burdens, loads, weights, encumbrances, demands, and strains that you're going to put on the Bahamian people back since 2021.
Dr. Sands also highlighted the fact that the cost of living has increased, high electricity bills, high gas prices above $6 per gallon, driver's license fees up 20%, boat registration fees up 3,000%.
Now, before this New Day grab, people might have been able to move a little something from one pile to the next, but everything going up, everything. It used to be that you could have shift a couple dollars from the mortgage to the light bill, but now you all have inland revenue raiding people's bank accounts and taking out their money first. So when they go to pay school fees, money gone. House insurance, if you could still get it, up by 9%. Health insurance with VAT, up. Food costs, up. Gas and diesel, higher now than in 2021 and climbing again. The consumer price index, official numbers say it's up by 10% from 2021.
Dr. Sands says while there has been an increase in minimum wage, Bahamians are still suffering.
So whether you're making $260 a week or $460 a week or $660 a week, this administration has made it hard to survive. Yes, we are tired of this miserable life. And at the same time, ministers and their entourage spending money left, right, and center. And the Prime Minister, well, he gone again. And so, on this anniversary, 2 years in, it is them, the PLP New Day administration, living high on the hog, and everybody else paying for it. The New Day is not a better day. But hold on, unstoppable change is coming.
That was Dr. Dwayne Sands, chairman for the Free National Movement. Police giving an update on 42-year-old Jermaine Miller and his son Anwar Miller, who was 1 year and 10 months old and whose death left many wanting answers. Police say Mr. Miller died of an irregular heartbeat. However, his son's death is still undetermined at this time. Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson providing the update at police headquarters earlier today.
We are in the final stages of our investigation in relation to the death investigation of Mr. Jermaine Miller and the toddler Anwar Miller. At present, both postmortems have been completed. It is known from the pathologist that the death of Lil Anwar Miller was classified as undetermined, and the death of Jermaine Miller was classified as cardiac arrhythmia, which means irregular heartbeat. So that file is being prepared to present to Her Majesty's coroner. So a further investigation is done by the coroner, and then a final conclusion will be done to that investigation.
Chief Superintendent Johnson also noting that police are still waiting on the results of a toxicology report for both father and son. The incident happened in the early morning hours last Tuesday on Family Street, just off Soldier Road West, when tenants called police to complain about Mr. Miller, who was their landlord, attacking them. And finally, in this segment, there has been an increase in both imports and exports during the second quarter in regards to foreign trade. There has been a $1.094 billion in total imports into the Bahamas, an increase of 35% when compared to the same period last year, while exports total $247 million, an increase of 68% for the second quarter 2023. With regards to major groups of merchandise imports into the country, mineral fuel, lubricants, and related materials total the cost of $225 million. Machinery and transport equipment, $219 million, with food and live animals rounding off the top three most costly imports at $193 million, all three categories accounting for 58% of total imports into the country. Meanwhile, the categories which contributed to the most to the country's foreign exports were machinery and transport equipment, which total $118 million, manufactured goods and materials, $61 million, while mineral fuels, lubricants, and related materials totaling $31 million, with all three categories accounting for 85% of total exports out of the country. Significant increases in exports showed in the categories of machinery and transport equipment, crude minerals, beverages, and tobacco, while food, live animals, and chemicals showed decreases in foreign exports when compared with the same period in 2022. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.